Carmi, I kind of kidded today. I wrote you back asking, did you get your new, what are we calling it? The iPhone Pocket? Is that what it's called officially?
Yeah, it looks like a giant sock, but
Yeah.
they're calling it the Apple Pocket.
So for people who did not see this, by the way, you got to see this online because I tell you, when I first saw it, I thought it was a joke, right? And then I saw the price and I was sure it was a joke, and I was wrong on both counts. So explain what this is exactly. It's just designed basically to hold your iPhone, right?
Yeah, it's like a giant. Almost looks like a large scarf with a little opening in the middle of it where you slip your iPhone in, apparently securely. I wouldn't trust it, but hey, whatever. So it allows you to carry your phone outside, like on you, instead of sticking it in a pocket. It's available in a whole bunch of different colors, so pink and yellow and orange and blue. And so it's kind of like a fashion statement. Apple has sold textile holders for their phones before, but the last time they did this, they charged $80 US for the privilege. This time they're charging, and get this, upwards of $200 US for the long. There's a short version, which is $149, and then there's a long version, which is $229, which is
what's a long version? I mean, where's it going to hang down to your knee? I mean, I don't understand. What's the point?
I guess if you just want people to know that you have an iPhone and you want them to see you coming, it's really an attention thing more than anything. I don't know about you, but when I've spent upwards of $2,000 or more on a phone, because it's not that hard to spend a couple of grand on a kind of a higher end iPhone, the last thing I want is this thing swinging around on the outside while I'm getting on the metro or walking down St. Catharines. So from a security perspective, probably not the best idea. Better to keep it inside a bag or inside your pocket or coat.
Just think now, if you're going to steal someone's iPhone, you can steal this new pouch at the same time. So it's like a double bang
hopefully
for your
it's your
buck.
color though, right? Like, because I'm not so much of a fan of the neon yellow. I would, but if it's orange, I'm all over it.
You know what? By the way, I'm seeing some social media reaction to this. I've not seen anyone not make fun of this. What have you seen?
Oh, everyone's making fun of it. I'm certainly it isn't the thing for me. I'm really not a sock carrying kind of guy. Although interestingly, folks who know me, I'm a cyclist. I like to ride my bike, and I take my iPhone with me. You never know when you're going to have an emergency, and I have bags on my bike frame. I will take my iPhone, put it inside an old sock. Didn't cost me anything because it had a hole in it. I figured may as well repurpose it so that it doesn't get bumped around or scratched or otherwise ruined. So I was using it long before Apple came out and charged us $230 for the privilege. I'm happy to sell my sock at a significant discount if anybody wants it. Black, a little bit of gray on it.
And who wouldn't want that? And of course, the beauty of socks is they come in pairs. You lose one, you get another one right away.
They do. I've got a second one ready in the garage in case I lose the first one.
By the way, you should mention this as well, right? If you live in Canada, you can't buy it here.
Yeah, apparently. So in Canada, we can only buy a cross-body strap, which is also $80, and so it's a lot less expensive. That attaches to the phone, and then you just sling it over your shoulder. But no, they're not selling the giant sock in Canada for reasons that are not clear to me. It's only showing up on the Apple US website, not on the Apple Canada website. And of course, Apple never says what their plans are. So if they're planning on selling it in Canada, if you really want one for, the holiday shopping season, you may have to shop cross-border. Hold your nose and shop cross-border if you want.
I got to tell you, I brought up the cross-body strap, right, on my screen just to see what this thing was. It's literally just that. It's a strap with a clip at either end, and they want $60 American for it, $59.
Yeah,
it's
and
outrageous.
That'll be $80 here in Canada. And when you take the strap off, it still leaves the little holders in either corner of your phone. So your phone's going to look a little bit odd if you don't always wear it on your person. Again, I can understand that the iPhone is an aspirational product. Apple sells it to a lot of people who they don't buy it because they want an iPhone. They just want the logo. This is really designed for people like that. It isn't really a thing for practicality. Again, swinging $1,000 or $2,000 device around from your shoulder, whether it's on a strap or a sock, doesn't strike me as the height of urban security, and I would not recommend it to anybody.
All right, let's move on. Enough about that. Meta, and we found this out the other day, is earning a fortune. They talk about stamping out fraudulent ads and working hard to do it. They're making a ton of money by having them.
Yeah, Reuters released a trove of internal documents that show that the company says in 2024, they made 10% of their total revenue for the entire year from scam ads. And so that amounts to $16 billion worth of ads. The number that we're seeing in our feeds is staggering. 15 billion scam ads in our feed per day. And what's really enraging about this is that they know that this is a problem, but rather than taking those ads off once they realize they're scams, instead they charge the advertisers more for them as a form of what they call deterrence. So, and of course, they make so much money off of these ads, they continue to keep those ads running. They show up in our feeds. That's why our feeds are so clogged with stuff we don't want to see. And of course, the more we interact with them, even if we don't click on them, just seeing them as we scroll through them, that encourages those ads to continue to be shown. It contributes to that virality. So the company isn't making them go away. They're making a lot of money at it. And of course, if you're a shareholder in Meta, you like that because that drives share prices higher. Absolutely obscene, and quite frankly, I'm willing to bet Meta is not the only company that's doing this. All the other companies probably have internal documents of their own yet to be discovered.
It's kind of hard to trust anybody these days online. They say one thing, and clearly, as found out here, they do something completely different.
Exactly. And the message is: you see an ad on social media, do not respond to it. Even if you're interested in it, get off of social media, open up a browser tab, and then go to the website directly. Type it in yourself. Don't click on links from social media. It's just the route to trouble.
All right. Next up, I want to get to this story because, again, I'm not sure. Bank of America, the company, sued over not paying workers for PC boot up time. Seriously, I mean, how long does it take for a PC to boot up?
In some cases, it could take 5 minutes, or it could take up to 30 minutes, depending on how complex the systems are.
Really?
You have to boot the computer. You have to log in. You have to load all the apps. Sometimes you have to connect to a VPN or a virtual private network. You have to use dual-factor authentication. Sort of go through all these hoops until you're absolutely ready to get work done. And at the Bank of America, there's some business analysts who said, in some cases it could take up to 30 minutes in the morning, and then they go to lunch. Their computers lock up on them automatically, as they should. Then they come back from lunch, and they have to do it all over again, and they're not being paid for it, even though they can't do their jobs until they go through all of these steps. So this lawsuit is now going ahead. It hasn't been tried in court or tested in court, but it'll be interesting to see if it sets a precedent because, as we know, people's jobs are becoming more complex all the time, more and more technology. You have to set it up before you can get your work done. And the laws around, what time is what they call compensable, vary from state to state and even in Canada from province to province. This case could set a precedent for other places to follow. We'll be watching it closely.
You're serious?
Yeah,
I'm thinking it takes a minute for a computer to boot up. I'd never heard it could take up to half an hour to boot up a computer. So I guess in a big company, maybe. But
in some businesses, there are some very specialized pieces of software as well as security software that kind of layers over everything. I've worked in offices where it can take tens of minutes from the time you first press the button to the time you're actually sitting down and starting to get work done.
I shouldn't complain though when my computer takes almost one whole minute to boot up.
Well, then you're lucky.
Wow. Okay.
But you should still get paid for that minute, Aaron.
Yeah, of course I should, but I do it at home, so I pay myself. And final story, Microsoft built a fake marketplace to test their AI agents, and what happened?
They found that they were failing significantly. So they had agents that would go out onto the internet and try to buy things, and they had agents on the other side that tried to sell them things. In other words, what happens when we sort of send these agents out? Will they behave? Will they be able to handle things? And what they found was they got overwhelmed very easily. In other words, if there were too many options, they kind of freaked out and just didn't do anything. And then they also found that when they were asked to collaborate, in other words, work together, they didn't work together very well. And the same thing, they could not handle complex guidance. So bottom line is we're very early in what we call the agentic era, where we tell agents to do work on our behalf. But as it turns out, they're nowhere near as good at getting that work done as humans. And this early research by Microsoft shows there's a lot of work yet to do. There's still room for you and me to continue to use keyboards and mice. Agents aren't going to be taking over anytime soon.
Good to know. Feel better already. Carmi Levy, our CTV tech analyst. Thank you, Carmi.
The biggest songs in the world. You've heard them countless times. Now, learn the details of how they came to be. Join Ruby Carr for Encore, the stories behind the songs you love. New interviews and newly unearthed archive footage make for a fascinating weekly deep dive. Stream Encore, the stories behind the songs you love on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.